Okay, so it is part 2 of Baking with Ariel, and today she's going to make some cookies, and they're called Everything But the Kitchen Sink Cookies. And I tried these many years ago, I don't know, at least 5 years ago, when I came to visit you in California at a vegan restaurant that she was working at. They're absolutely delicious, and so they've evolved a little bit since the last time I've tasted them, and we've been experimenting a little bit here in the kitchen today. But Ariel is now going to show you how to make them. They came out quite amazing, so I'll leave it all up to you, dear.
Thanks, Mom. Okay. Yes. These cookies are quite amazing, very tasty and healthy. They're vegan, so those of you who are not into the dairy products or the animal products, these are for you. But everyone can enjoy them. So, what we're going to do first, we got 2 bowls here. I'm going to start with 1 bowl. Move these over. And in 1 bowl we're going to place our wet ingredients. Okay, so here we have our oil, and you can use grapeseed oil, coconut oil, olive oil. Before we put it in our bowl, actually, this is what we do. Put all the wet ingredients into your wet measuring cup. And this is so, put the oil in first, and this is so that when you put the sticky molasses in there, which we are going to put about 1/2 cup of, this way everything slides right out of the measuring cup. And you don't have to worry about a sticky mess. So if you have a cup and you put 1/2 cup, you should come up to 1½ cups. You can just pour it right in there. And there we are. Okay, so now we're adding our 1/2 cup of maple syrup. We're at 1½ cups. We're going to now add 1/2 cup, so that's going to bring us up to 2 cups. Voila. We're going to take the wet ingredients with a rubber spatula here and pour it into our bowl, and just watch how easily everything slides right out. No problem. Just gotta help the last little bit out of there. And then here to the wet ingredients. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini.
Could you maybe substitute like a nut butter if you had that, if you didn't have the tahini?
Yes, you could. You could use an almond butter, peanut butter, sunflower seed butter. Tahini is good for those. If you do have tahini, it's good for those who have nut allergy. Just give that a little mix. A nice swirl.
And so this batter, there's no eggs, there's no milk, there's no dairy, so you can actually let this batter, when it's done, sit out, right? It doesn't have to be refrigerated.
Correct.
You can even eat it uncooked.
Yes.
It's
Yum.
safe to do that.
And we're just going to let that sit for a moment while we put our dry ingredients together. We're first going to start with here 2 cups of whole grain spelt flour. Prefer not to use bleached flour or all-purpose flour. I'd rather to use something more on the whole grain side. So from there then, we have 3 cups of rolled oats. We'll just add those together. Just take your wooden spoon, combine the oats and the flour, like so. And then what we'll mix in with that, we have 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. Mix that in a little bit. And do a 1/4 cup of organic raw sugar. here. Give another mix. Okay. Then we have here baking soda. Here. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and their good old friend, salt. You could use kosher salt, sea salt, whatever kind of salt you have on hand. And we'll do 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, so we have all of our dry ingredients here. Mix those together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to marry our wet and dry ingredients together. So I'm just going to do it into the dry bowl. It's going to make a little bit of a volcano-like space for the wet ingredients. Pour it in. Get as much out of there as we can. And then take our wooden spoon. Okay, mix it all together here. Just keep folding it onto itself. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the everything but the kitchen sink part here. Now we're going to add 1 cup fine coconut.
That's unsweetened coconut, finely shredded, right?
Yes, it is. It's going to help to thicken up the batter a little bit here too. I'm going to make sure that's evenly distributed. Okay. And then 1 cup of pumpkin seeds. You can use sunflower seeds if you'd like. You could omit the seeds and add some nuts if you'd like. But today we're using pumpkin seeds. Look at that. Now, 1 cup of flame raisins. You could use currants, cranberries, dry blueberries, some kind of dry fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Could even chop up some dried apricots or
cherries. Anything,
yeah.
right? Any type of dried.
Yeah. Just throw some fruit in there. And then chocolate chips. Vegan dark chocolate chips. Keep them vegan. If you're a milk lover, go ahead, throw in some milk chocolate. White chocolate. If you don't like chocolate, don't put any chocolate in there. How could you not like chocolate?
We did try them without chocolate, and they were pretty good.
They were.
Look at that. Whoa. Looks like a wet granola. Really good. I bet you could make this into bars. You could just press it into a pan and make it into a nice bar.
We've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. We're going to tray these up and bake them for about 15 minutes. And we've lined our tray here with parchment paper to prevent any sticking, should that happen. What we're going to use is one of these little melon ball or ice cream scoop type contraptions. And I'm going to pack it in there really well and push it down against the side of the bowl. You come in, lay it on the tray.
So they're big balls when they start out.
They're big balls, and they're not gonna be big balls when they're done. But you'll get to see that.
So you want to talk briefly about the history behind this cookie recipe?
This cookie recipe has been inspired by this wonderful woman who I worked for at this vegan, vegetarian, local, organic restaurant called the Red Radish in Blue Lake, California. The restaurant's no longer open. However, the cookies were born there, and I was fortunate enough to get to be able to make them to serve to the public and to learn the recipe and to be able to take the recipe with me and transform it. Voila.
Okay.
So now we will place them into a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. And
Perfect timing. Let's check them out. Ooh, don't those look good?
Yes, they look delicious.
Okay, so
Make sure you put on your oven mitt.
take those out.
Cookies.
Hmm.
I'm going to bring them here. Place them. I'd recommend letting them set to cool. Might fall apart on you if you try to eat them too soon.
Right, when they're hot, they're not set so much, right? You really need to let them sit and cool down so they don't fall apart when you eat them. So there we have it.
Everything but the kitchen sink cookies.
Nice job, dear. Thanks. Take care. Bye, everybody.